The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, their guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirely without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group, copyright 2025. All rights are reserved.
The march to freedom is long, and it must continue to evolve.
Led by God and grounded in Scripture.
The march to freedom must be righteous, with a focus on accountability and sustainability to ensure that we leave no man behind.
Have the courage to do the right thing and get yourself a red Bible.
As we unleash the minds, you can be confident that the revolution is alive, and we will continue to document it.
This is Freedom March.
This is Freedom March. Hello, happy Monday. Thank you for joining us. I'm Levan Miller. Welcome to Freedom March. You're listening to us on 103.5 The Beat FM. Channel 224, that's on cable. Channel 112, that's on Flow. And of course on ILTV Studios on Facebook, where by now you should be following. It's Monday. So much continues to happen in the news. We've got some interesting things to talk to you about because as these things evolve, we want to make sure that, we here at Freedom March are staying ahead of the curve and are bringing you what we think are, if not the facts, certainly broader views of the goings on of the country. And so in order to do that, we rummage through the news and we figure out what's not being said in the stories, because if you go to any one of these places that dissect these things, it almost sounds very cookie cutter. Everybody seems to be saying a whole lot of the same thing. And so we promise you here at Freedom March that is never our goal. Our goal is always to ensure that the views that are espoused in the public space takes on something less myopic, something wider, something that has more consideration as often as we get the opportunity. And so stay with us the whole show. I think we're going to have a wonderful discussion today. Bradley Roll, the spiritual advisor extraordinary and plenipotentiary, spiritual advisor for the whole Bahamas, I'm told. He's here with me. Bradley, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you so much. Good to be here, Levan.
It's Monday. How did you survive the weekend?
Oh, man. Well, the weekend wasn't too bad. As always.
Was it one bad?
Well, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I had one or two things to do.
Absolutely.
I had to attend a funeral.
Okay.
It's one of those sad occasions, but other than that,
I
give
always
thanks to
wonder,
God.
why do people ask, how was the funeral?
I guess when they asked how the funeral was, I guess they...
It was funerally. There was someone that was dead.
Yeah.
There was some people that was staring at a dead person for a while. And then, at one point, we all started staring at this little jewelry box at the front of the church. Because I never understand, if we come here to see the dead person, right? Why they close the box before the service over? Because we come to see the dead. So why am I going to spend an hour and a half staring at the jewelry box? Leave it open, let me look at the dead person.
All right. Well, unless the figures can be a distraction, I don't know.
But all of us who come here dress up to come see the dead man.
Yeah.
So why you cover the dead man?
Close
The
the
first
box.
thing you want to do is cover up the dead man. Ah, boy. Anyway, you hear the jingle. Don't move. We're going to the break. Freedom March. We'll be right back after this.
Fill a box for all $30.
The new KFC Fill-Up Box, serving 6 juicy pieces of chicken, 4 buttery biscuits, crispy fries to share, and 12 premium original recipe KFC nuggets, all packed into one crave-worthy box. So dig in and do whatever the crunch you want with the KFC Fill-Up Box. Only at KFC, it's finger-licking good.
This is Freedom March. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Levan Miller, Bradley Roll, the spiritual advisor extraordinary, and plenipotentiary is with me. And if Bradley Roll is here, then it must mean we have Holy Scripture. So, Bradley, tell us, what does the Holy Scripture have to say to us today?
We're going to go quickly to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verses 20 to 24. When the 10 heard about this, they were indignant with two brothers. Jesus called them together and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them." I guess that's their rulership. "And their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant. And whoever wants to be first must be a slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many." Understanding service. Very powerful indeed. Matthew 20, 24 to 28. Read from the NIV. The Word of God is extremely blessed.
And what exactly are we taking from that?
What I find to be interesting is that people just don't understand the power of service and how powerful it is. When you compare what Jesus did, and he said, "Look at me as the Son of Man." Even though he had all of authority and power and majesty, yet he still said that I didn't come for people to serve me, but I came to serve others and to give my life as a ransom for many. I'm wondering if we recognize how important the power of service is, because when you look, let's say for instance in politics, a lot of times, and I'm thinking that the people who elect these men may have it twisted. Why be giving them so much praise and honor for something that they sign up to do?
Because, and this is where people that are from my ilk share small differences, right? The Prime Minister is a civilian. The Governor General is a civilian. Yet, in either of their capacities, they take charge over trained military men, right? Like, no country ever wants a military person running it because they don't think that that's good for civility, right? And so, all throughout the world, America and other places, what you will find is, while they do not have a difficulty with the leader of the nation having military experience, nobody ever wants a Fidel Castro or something like that to happen, where somebody that is an actual military person taking over the country.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For many reasons. And other countries around the world will come to the defense of a country if its military leader tries to take the country over. But the Prime Minister, outside of the instruments of state, has no power. Philip Davis can't command 1,000 men to go nowhere on his own strength. You follow me?
When the house is dissolved, he becomes powerless.
I'm talking about if we just pick up Philip off the side of the road, no 1,000 people will listen to him. First of all, he's only 4 foot 11. Who would listen to him? But empowered with the instrument of state.
Right.
If he stands up,
Amazing.
1,000 men stand up before he even says anything. If he tells 1,000 armed men with M4s and boots, march in that direction, they will. About turn, they will. Hold Bradley, they will. And so you have to understand that while they are elected servants, they are also the people who bear the weight of the instruments of state. This is why when they started the whole argument over the Prime Minister driving a BMW, my question was, what should the Prime Minister drive? Should we get him a wooden barrel and 6 Budweiser horses to pull him through the city
I don't
center?
know if they're saying that, but
Well, what
for
should
some
he have?
strange reason, some folks believe that there are some vehicles that are just too extravagant and not
And show me which
necessarily-
other country do they have these kind of very trivial conversations. Have you ever seen the way they move the British monarch.
Let me ask a question. Would you think Mia Motley drives? She seems to be a very
I don't
humble.
know. I could check, but I'm
Even
willing
though
to.
she- even though she
I'm
commands
willing
a country.
to bet it is a European vehicle. That just happens to be the model of governance. And well, if you live here, we like Fords, but that's only because I believe they have some sort of a sweetheart deal that
But does the
that exists in perpetuity.
Maybe restrain a bit, but does the prime minister of a country, does he have to be carried around in a
Show me
$200,000?
which other.
No, I'm asking the question. Does he have to be carried
No,
around?
but does
in
he
a
need to wear a
$200,000
suit to
vehicle?
work every day? Does he need to write with a filter pen?
No.
What other questions are we going to start asking?
no.
Should he sit in a leather chair? Should he have an elevator in his office?
Well, Zelensky has proven to us that you don't even need a suit to go to the White House.
And I'm telling you that people like Zelensky, those are going to be, in 10 years, we won't even remember their names.
Because
they do
they
not fit into the social
Because they didn't dress
fabric.
properly.
History will forget them. This is what I'm trying to tell you. And so in order for there to be social normality, right? I get it. Servitude or the desire to serve is very important. But understand this.
It's a high honor. It's a high honor based on words
Serving
Jesus.
is a high honor.
Yeah.
But the Commodore of the Defense Force joins the Defense Force as a Marine seaman. He's serving country. He's also serving country as the commander of the Defense Force. Let me tell you this. The same human being that walks through the gate as a Marine seaman has no security detail, has no outrider, his car has no flashing lights on it, he doesn't have a pennant, he doesn't have any of that stuff. It's the same human. There are levels to service that come along with the weight of the instruments of the office. I do not expect the Archbishop of the Catholic Church to stand on a line in BEC.
Why not?
I don't expect him to be that close to people
Well,
because it jaundices.
he's just a servant.
It jaundices his. Yes, who needs to have his mind? You know what I think one of the problems with this prime minister is? You want to know?
What do you mean?
Too much people could just call brave. I have the gravest difficulty whenever people come to me and tell me silliness like Brave say, give me the plastic bag out the room. You have access to a prime minister, and your one favor was that? When some guy said something about some sign and told me that you have access to a prime minister. This man flies the coat of arms on his flag. You realize that, right? You realize the prime minister's flag have the coat of arms and the mace on it, right?
Okay.
And so he has the weight of the monarch and the weight of the Commonwealth. And the best thing you could think about asking the prime minister for when you got him on the phone was a sign. And so sometimes, I believe that what we anticipate is that people should take abuse in the name of offering service.
I don't think so.
Because I would break my phone in
so.
half hanging it up on you if I was a prime minister and you called me about a daiquiri stand.
But my point about the passage, because you asked, hey, would we draw this out of this passage? If you, like, say, for instance, gold analysis is a hot ticket now.
Sure.
And we have some men.
I hear the FNM even in contesting it. Go ahead.
They want to go into gold analysis. So you must ask yourself this question. Why are you going into gold analysis? What is your main purpose in wanting these people to select you to represent them? Obviously, you're going to serve. And so if you're going to serve, you're basically going to be rendering your duty to the constituents. I'm just trying to figure out, why do we think that when they do their service, that we need to put them on a pedestal when they're doing
Because it is not the man.
only what they're elected to do?
Because it is not the man. See, and this is the thing. Joe Snuffy walks into the middle of the street, dressed in civilian attire, raises up his hand. You know what we will end up with? One really dead Joe Snuffy. Now, Joe Snuffy puts on his red stripe, puts on his depot blues, puts on his brass buttons, puts on his peak with the insignia, stands into the road, white glove on his hand, and raises his hand. You know what we have? Stopped traffic.
Okay.
Joe Snuffy is still, He's nobody. But when draped with the weight of the instrument of state, that is owed some reverence. And so a servant could be entitled to reverence.
To some reverence.
Yes. Because the collective will of the people chose that Philip Davis deserved for 1,000 man to get up when he stand up. The collective will of the... See, he can still be a servant.
And that is what he is. He's serving the people.
But the weight of the instrument deserves some reverence.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that in Christianity there is a big difference. And Jesus made the same point that you make, that the rulers of the Gentiles, they exercise authority and they lord it over the people. And that's how it is with the non-spiritual side of things. But when it comes to the spiritual side of things, if you serve, you, as far as Jesus is concerned, you're the greatest. Because here it is that you would take this humble role.
Sure.
And you would serve people as a duty and commitment to them.
Sure. Where was Jesus coming from when he ran into the fig tree? Wasn't it Samaria?
I'll have to fact check that.
I could just ask
because I don't
ChatGPT.
want to give.
Let me just ask ChatGPT.
Remember that last week we were talking about fact checking the preacher. I'll have to fact check
I could just ask ChatGPT, and everybody could go check their ChatGPT, right? Fact checking don't take an hour anymore. I don't have an encyclopedia. I could just ask Chat, right?
Where was Jesus coming from when he?
Yeah, Chat. Where was Jesus coming from when he saw the fig tree? All right. Let's go AI.
Does ChatGPT know?
Well, I figure ChatGPT can go ask Jesus.
No, they probably go search the scriptures to
Okay.
get it.
Well, that's the only thing I was going to do.
Yeah, they're going to search
Chat
the
just could do it a
scriptures.
whole lot faster than me.
Yeah.
And so the point I'm making is Jesus was coming from a mission on his way to somewhere. I think it was from Samaria.
And
going on
when he
his way
cursed the
to
fig tree?
Yeah.
Because it didn't have any fruit.
Right.
Okay.
Do you hear any humility in that message? How dare Jesus believe that this fig tree should just stand up here and have fig on it for him? You see, so the message of humility, the message of servitude, right, is one that you cannot speak. Well, I like when people speak out of one side of their mouth, but you have to understand that even if you speak out of one side of your mouth, so Jesus was coming from Bethany when he saw the fig tree.
Let's see.
And where was Jesus on
coming
his way
from.
to?
Yeah, I asked Google. Jesus was coming from Bethany when he cursed the fig tree.
You didn't like ChatGPT and say?
No. As he and his disciples were walking back to Jerusalem.
Jerusalem.
He spotted the tree, which was covered with leaves, but found no fruit on it. So he cursed it. And next the disciples observed.
Show me the
had
humility.
Well, it's not a matter of
There
humility.
is no humility there.
I believe, remember that, the tree was being described as having leaves. It was covered with leaves.
Yeah, so the tree...
Which means it must have been a really beautiful tree.
So you're trying to
with
tell
all
me
all the right things on
the
it.
tree had 90% of his function correct. He got beautiful.
But no
that
fruit.
tree could have offered Jesus some shade. That tree could have offered Jesus a chance to make another tree. That tree could have offered Jesus material to build a boat. So this fig tree doing 90% of his job.
And yet still had a problem.
Jesus, did Jesus tell this fig tree?
It did not bear any
Did
fruit.
Jesus
That's a
tell
lesson
this
for me and
fig
you.
tree that he was coming?
You realize that, right?
No.
That's a lesson for me and you.
Did Jesus tell this fig tree he was coming?
That
He
doesn't
did
matter.
not. What you
That
mean?
doesn't matter.
So okay, so
It's the same thing with me and you.
Jesus probably walked past 1,000 other tree that day. He didn't want nothing off none of them, so all them tree get a chance to live. But because Jesus decided, without having any discussion with the fig tree,
got the power to do
that he
that.
wants some fig, and it's because
He had the power to do it, you know.
and it is because the power vested in him requires a level of reverence.
Yeah, okay.
And so, fig tree, you know I am the Son of Man. And when I pull up, I don't care where you get fig from, my brother. Fig grown, because Jesus also had the power to command the fig tree to grow figs.
But I wonder if you may have missed the power in that the very powerful lesson, you know. That's a lesson for me and you. When you look at us, there are times in our lives and we seem to be doing so much good outwardly. Go to church dressed up, looking good, do everything basically that man would see.
Yeah.
But yet still in our hearts we don't really bear fruit for God.
Why did Jesus?
And so eventually we'll be cut down.
Why did Jesus not command the fig tree to go fig? He's Jesus.
That's true.
He have the power to
But
tell
you
this
said
fig
but
tree.
you said it, you know. The tree wasn't functioning properly.
The fig tree was doing everything a fig tree should do.
Jesus cursed it.
And all I'm saying is,
And the leaves withered too, you know.
and you know what that cursing was about? Because you know, chat say Jesus was in Bethany with his friends. He was in Bethany, the home of Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, close friends of Jesus. He often stayed there during his visits to Jerusalem. One of his most famous miracles occurred that was raising Lazarus from the dead. So Jesus been doing what he was doing, serving, right? Jesus didn't tell his fig tree he was coming this way, my brother.
But Jesus was hungry. Hunger led Jesus to inspect a fig tree
Jesus
that
decided he
appeared
was
promising. Here's the point. Hunger led Jesus to inspect a fig tree that appeared promising due to its full leaves. However, since it was not yet the season for figs, he found no fruit on it. Disappointed, Jesus then cursed the tree, declaring that it would never bear fruit again.
This is my point.
Now, what's the significance of the
The
cursing? though?
significance is, while I am humble enough to serve, fig tree, where you get the audacity from that the Son of Man would come. Hold on. When Jesus commanded the disciples to take the money of the fish mouth, do you remember that?
Well, the question was asking about paying taxes,
Yes.
I think.
Uh-huh.
And whether or not it was right to pay taxes in season. And I guess
And the
he
fellas asked, where we can get the money from?
so he instructed them to go.
Jesus said, go,
the
put
fish-
your hand in the
fish
water.
mouth,
When you see the fish,
take-
open up your
take out
mouth.
the coin,
The
and then he
money
says,
could be in the
whose
fish mouth.
inscription is on the coin? And when they revealed it to him, he said, okay, so you rendered to Caesar.
Now,
what the
how much
Caesar-
fish you think got coin in their mouth?
I don't think any
By the
fish.
power vested in him in the authority of this office, this fish ain't have no choice but to have money in his mouth when
Yeah,
Jesus said.
Jesus put the coin there.
So when the fig tree see Jesus coming,
The fig tree didn't see Jesus coming.
and
There's a spiritual lesson
point.
behind
So my
that.
point is, no, Bradley.
Yeah, there is.
I feel my church of God
Something
coming
about
now.
fruitlessness.
No. See, they preach that in the quarter A.
Yeah.
Understand the value of reverence, because not because a fella don't demand reverence from you means he ain't entitled to reverence from. I feel my church of God, I tell you, not because the fella nice, not because the fella does talk to everyone who hail him and greet him. The man is the pastor of a mega church. That don't mean you should stop him in the aisle while he buy a $9 egg to talk to him about for 35 minutes about some dream you had last night because you eat pork chop that was in the fridge for 3 days.
Don't be like the fig tree, okay? Bear fruit, my brother,
And even servants
or you'll get cursed out.
require reverence. Don't more Freedom March will be back.
This is Freedom March.
This is Freedom March. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Levan Miller. Bradley Roll, the spiritual advisor. Extraordinary and plenipotentiary is with me. And so, Bradley, now that we've gotten all the scripture out of the way,
Absolutely.
man, that's up made it.
Return to
The fig
politics.
tree doing 99% of his job. Wow, Jesus gone right there.
Listen, you got to get it right.
Okay, so
brother.
that poor fig tree. Well, Bradley, I have to tell you this. There is somebody that is walking around here, and I must do this, purporting to be the presumptive leader of the woman them.
Who's that?
Some guy.
What's his name?
Man, I don't even want to call his name. It's like Voldemort.
Is he a member?
I don't know where this boy come from. Ask him if he know where the house of woman is. He can't tell you that. Ask him if he knows when the initial meeting date to establish the woman
Woman them
them
house.
was.
Yeah.
He don't know that. But here he comes, out of nowhere, like Louis the Lip, just trying to. And I believe that it is a tactic to lure the women them towards sinfulness.
Wow.
And so I want to tell women.
Let's stop him in his tracks.
I have to. And so I'm going to play. Producer, you have my video. So I want people to know that the reason I have become de facto leader of the woman them is because I have been chairman of the woman them for 10 years. And I'm not prepared to let some guy just waltz in from out of nowhere and lead these women down the path of unrighteousness. So let's hear how I became de facto leader of the woman them, eh?
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV channel 224 and BTC Flow TV 112. Cable Bahamas has been sabotaging me, and I've been praying that thunder and lightning will strike them in their antenna, because it is wicked that Mr. Ingram, who gave them all of this concession, that they're not operating efficiently. So Lord, it is my prayer that thunder and lightning will strike them. Booyaka! Well, my special guest is 30-year-old Levon Miller III. Mr. Miller is the independent candidate for South Beach. He's also a candidate that I really think I owe a favor to, because last year he joined me in leading thousands of Negro women and Conky Joe women who also became saved, as we led them peacefully across the river. We emancipated them from so-called gender equality. And as a result of his good works, just leading thousands of women to reject gender equality, you receive an award from me. And first of all, let me welcome you to Freedom March. And you did receive an award for your great service to the woman them. What award did we give to you?
Well, thank you, Senator. Thank you for having me here, and congratulations on your ascension to TV. But I think I was bestowed with the Gideon sword of valor for protecting the women and leading them across the sea of referendum, I think it was.
This is powerful.
Yeah, and I was also bestowed with, I don't know if it is the indefinite chairmanship of the Save the Woman movement, but I was also bestowed with the, not chairmanship, the directorship, sorry. So I am the director.
You were actually in charge of young women.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was put in charge of all women 30 and under.
Yes, this is powerful.
And so I am the director of Save the Woman Them.
This is great.
Yes, and holder of the Gideon sword.
So you are an independent candidate.
I am.
Let me start off.
And so, to the fella out there purporting this thing as if they could somehow miraculously lead the woman, I want that to stop. My name is Levan Miller. I am leader of the FNAs. I am leader of the woman them, and I've given responsibility for the young woman them to one Dion Delancey, who has taken over as chairman or director of the woman them. Because only one set of man around here save woman them. And I don't know where this boy was when the woman them didn't need saving. All of a sudden, the woman them are saved, praise the Lord, and here comes this guy up from the bushes, unbeknownst to me, perpetrating a fraud that he somehow could lead the woman them. And show me your Gideon sword of valor, my friend. Just take it out. Just show it. If you could produce the Gideon sword, then we could have a conversation about who should lead the woman them. But it seems like this road that you are on, my friend, is a road that leadeth to destruction. And I am not prepared to allow these unsuspecting women them to follow you right down the pathway of sinfulness, because it just looked like sin that way. And we've already rescued them from that. We've brought them across the river or the sea of referendum. And it is because of this that since the Honorable Senator has gone on to receive his reward, the holder of the Gideon sword ascends to the position of leader of the woman them. And if you were a man, you know, with a little bit more patience, I too might consider bestowing the Gideon sword upon you. But until such time, you can't just go naming yourself leader of the. I mean, you think this is a Mickey Mouse operation we running? You're not the leader of the woman them. I don't care how much hugging up you do. There's only one. All right? And my position is like the King of England. So I am Levin Miller, leader of the woman them, and leader of the FNAs. Okay? And I don't feel like I should need to clear that up any further than that. Oh boy, the things I have to do around here. Anyway, I'm now joined in studio by a living legend, actually. Is it the infamously famous one, Miss Ali McIntosh, who has joined me to talk a little bit of politics. Because it's politics time, Ali.
Actually, politics time.
It's politics time. And so, all around the island, the things are going crazy. I see all sorts of people are saying all sorts of things. But here's why I thought to bring you here today. Because before I had become holder of the Gideon sword,
okay,
of valor, de facto leader of the woman them, leader of the FNAs, I happen to.
What is the FNAs?
It's like the lodge. We'll tell you when you join. Do you want a membership card?
No.
We are actively in search of a chairman.
Okay.
Okay? But the FNAs is for anybody that cannot be PLP, who they wouldn't let be FNM. So if you cannot be PLP, and they wouldn't let you be FNM, you have my jingle. The only thing left in life to be Ali McIntosh
is what?
Is a FNA. And we have song. Play our jingle so that the servant leader could hear we ain't messing around.
Cause we don't play. Come go this way and vote for the FNA. We are the FNA because we don't play. Come go this way and vote for the FNA. Tell them take the FNM, we ain't one of them. And the PLP is a gangster party. The COI is a party made up by just one guy. So if you wanna go all the way, come go with the FNA. We are the FNA because we don't play. Come go this way and vote for the FNA. When they shout PLP, just say no way. You're going with us in the FNA. The FNM done lost their way, and we don't play, we vote in FNA. The COI have a plan, they say, but the best plan is to go with the FNA.
And so, now that you hear our jingle, do you feel invigorated?
It's a good jingle.
Do you feel fired up?
I feel fired up.
Do you feel ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
So all you have to do now is proclaim that we don't play because we is the FNA.
Well,
I think I just find my
your
chairman.
Your new chairman.
Yeah, I think I just find my chairman. And isn't it wonderful that we have woman inclusion? Oh man, this is fantastic. I told you, the FNA is breaking ground, and we are accomplishing massive things. So
That's
for
good.
those of you that do not know, Miss McIntosh, just tell people briefly, 30 seconds, who is Ali?
I am S. Ali McIntosh, the servant leader, but I lead the Bahamas Constitution Party.
Okay.
So,
Where
clear
is
enough.
the Constitution Party these days?
Nowadays, we're preparing for the
General election?
general election.
Okay, so you're not contesting the by-election?
No, we won't. We won't waste any energy on that.
Okay.
You know, we are going straight to prepare the candidates, those that are interested in putting their name forward and being a part of history. And so that's what we will be doing while the country is wasting money having a by-election. I know it's constitutional that we must replace the seat of, or the person, a
Right.
person in the seat
right.
of the Honorable Vaughan Miller. Yeah, God rest his soul. You know, he was a very good friend of mine. Yeah, and so, but we believe, because that's when the person does win, it's going to be another 6 months, 7, 8 months.
I say May 5th. That's when the election is.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
that's when the FNA is readying its flanks for.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
that's
we're
good. Yeah, so we
prepared-
should
we're
be
prepared
ready.
for battle.
You know, we would be ready for May 5th if it's
Yeah.
May 5th.
Yeah.
But early summer, obviously, would be the time. So I think it's the PLP seat. Let them keep their seat. And let's just move forward.
Well, I've told the PLP to not contest the seat.
Well, they could have not contested the seat
It
and
don't
then
shift the
shoot
power.
somebody in. It doesn't shift any power.
It don't shift the power.
Yes, that is-
I've
doesn't.
told them my 2 recommendations.
What would that be?
Don't contest the seat. Let Brian Brown go kill the COI down there. Right?
Oh, just the FNM and the COI.
Yeah. But if
Would that look like? And good evening to your
But if
your
by chance,
audience. I'm
but if
so
by
glad to
chance the
be here.
COI wins, Michael Pintard will not be able to raise his head in this town.
Well, we are seeing that with all of the back and forth with him and
Yeah.
Lincoln Bain
Yeah.
in the square last week. That was really not decorum for leaders
Right.
to go to the length they have done, because both of them could have exercised self-discipline
A bit more,
a bit more, and they could have avoided that back and forth.
Because I tell you, in the
now-
hood I grew up in, if you say them things about anybody I know in the hood I grew up in, that's the reason to put your 2 on in the air, my brother.
Well, I know that both things,
Yeah.
both what was said by both of them
Yeah.
was not. I guess it was not appropriate.
Certainly not parliamentary like
no,
language.
not in the front of the parliament. But I do think that they could have exercised caution. Obviously, the preamble of the Constitution, which governs how we govern, said the first thing we should exercise is self-discipline.
Right.
And both of them lost it that day.
Yeah.
But I do believe that as we move forward to go into the next general election, that we should exercise not only decorum, we should behave ourselves, we should bring more parliamentary behavior to the election. I heard somebody, I think in the newspaper today, say it's going to be a nasty election.
Keith Bell.
I don't know why Keith Bell think it's going to be. Is the PLP going to start a nasty election?
I don't know.
Or
but
they
it's
expect that's
certainly
supposed to come
off
from
brand
somewhere?
because the Prime Minister just 3 weeks ago said that politics doesn't have to be nasty.
It doesn't have to be
so I'm
nasty,
not-
but the PLP do initiate some things that causes politics to go down the road that it goes.
Wow.
And so, you know, when you say something, but you do something else, you know, I don't know. You practice what you preach.
It's very interesting that do we have the clip from Lincoln and Michael? It was very interesting that you would bring that up, right? Because here's what I want to say. I talked to you about the hood I grew up in. And in the hood I grew up in, if you use this kind
Well,
of
we all
language-
grew up in that hood near Mini Street area, right?
You would put your 2 hands in the air and start protecting your face, my friend, because this is reason.
It's going to be fight.
Yeah, for people to start throwing their hands in your direction. And so from today on, I do not intend to call him Michael Pintard anymore. I want to call him Mikey Ronks.
Why?
Well, he must be Mikey Ronks. I feel like Michael Pintard is the leader of the opposition, and because of the weight of the office of the leader of the opposition, you ought to not just be draped in the authority of that office, but in the department and the decorum of the office.
Definitely so.
Lincoln Bain has since offered a public apology that Michael Pintard, leader of the opposition, has refused. Well, luckily for us, this is political Sparta, where every utterance of your lip must be accounted for in Sparta. And we don't care if you are king or messenger or slave or messenger of the king, you will be held accountable. So someone, somewhere, with something that records, has some footage that from the best of what I could see appears to be Michael Pintard, using some language that is not parliamentary, that is not even decent, that actually has slur in it, right?
Yes.
And when you start getting into that water there, you could be talking about things like hate speech, right?
Yes.
Thank God this is in America where everybody's decent, because this kind of language out in an open square like that could have massive consequences, right?
Absolutely.
And so if you want to act this way, I don't think I should call you Michael Pintard, because Michael Pintard is the leader of the opposition, and I have expectations from the leader of the opposition. So from the day on this show, I'm going to refer to him as Mikey Ronks.
Wow.
Yeah, and so Mikey Ronks, I feel like you should apologize to the people, because even though Lincoln is all those things that you said he is, right? What did he say? The man can't keep wife, he can't keep a
Now, I'm not going to follow you down that road.
No,
I'm going to leave him as the opposition, as the leader of the opposition. I'm going to leave him as the leader of the opposition, because he should be leading all of us other parties.
And if he acts like the leader...
Well, see, then the responsibility comes in. When you call him the leader of the opposition and he hasn't behaved in that way.
If he behaves like the leader of the opposition, then he should be called the leader of the opposition, right? But if it meows, you call it a cat, right? If it neighs, you call it a horse.
Well...
If it bucks and kicks, you call it an ass. That is what you do. And so the point I'm making is, I'm not going to call you leader of the opposition, because that behavior doesn't coincide with leader of the opposition behavior.
And that's why the responsibility will be for someone to call for his resignation. It's kind of difficult to call for his resignation, because his behavior is not in the decorum of the leader of the opposition.
The PLP must be too busy governing, because not a single soul in this, and nobody called for his resignation.
Well, I think the behavior demands that somebody makes him accountable.
And so we're doing it now. And so on this show, he will never again be referred to on this show as Michael Pintard, because Michael Pintard is the leader of the opposition, and the person I saw out there didn't look very leader of the opposition-ish to me. Yes. And so I want to refer to him as Mikey Ronks. And I tell you, I come from the hood where you just put your hands in there when you offend people. So if you feel offended, you know.
Well, you know, Lincoln brought a point when he referred to him in terms of, because I thought that entire presentation was not even called for, because somebody said that he's insulted a young lady, and that's why Lincoln was defending that behavior. But I kind of see one or two different tapes, and none of it was called for. Because walking away when you know you are standing in front of all your constituents would be the thing to do. Not to go back again and insist that you hear what I say. Because when people do that, they mean for you to hear what they say.
So let's let everybody hear. We ready, producer? We can play it. Think about this. Think about.
They don't want to be sued.
No, no,
not really.
The language is inflammatory language.
It was.
And think about this. Here's what I want you to think about as you drive in your car today listening to me. Close your eyes and imagine this as you drive.
Okay, this is radio.
The leader of the opposition in the public square. There are no spaces in this country more public than Rawson Square. Rawson Square is the public square. It is the seat of power. Parliament Square, Rawson Square. That is why you can't keep Bahamians out of it. It is the place where the weight of the instrument of state gets its weight. Yet, I have an audio clip, think about this, that is so egregious, we can't play it on radio.
Okay.
Isn't that fantastic?
So we'll have to only talk about it.
And this is my point. Oh no, see, social media exists now.
Yes.
And this is what politicians must understand. Because ICA can't stop them. But I want your eyes still closed? Keep your eye closed and think about this as you drive. I want all right-thinking Bahamians to understand that this is the man that we're going to send to Saudi Arabia, where there is massive cultural differences. This is the man
that we're going to send to the UN.
We're going to send to the UN, where there could be any number of cultural differences. This is the man that we're going to send to the United States of America, where we know that their guy is a special kind of guy. So imagine our special guy and their special guy in the same room.
So you know what is so interesting, Yvonne, that people don't understand. When you are preparing to lead a country,
Sure.
it is not just the countries, it's not just the natives,
Sure.
it's not just the constituents
Sure.
you are preparing to lead.
Sure.
Because as a leader of a country, you become a world leader. You're not the world leader, but you are a world leader. And part of that means that you're going to have to hang out with world leaders.
With world leaders.
And so if the decorum that is requested, or the decorum that is requested of you has to be parliamentary-like, has to be dignified, has to be that you don't say certain things.
You certainly don't use slur.
You don't use those kind of things because, and so people, I say that to people because they have to understand, you know, and that's why I try with my voice. Certain things I don't say.
Sure.
I try to exercise what our grandparents say. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything.
Sure.
So sometimes even I'm on a meeting and I have to turn off my mic because
Yeah.
if I respond to what
Yeah.
people are saying, it may not be nice.
Yeah.
So the point is
I learned to
decorum
write
and
down the
dignity.
place words on the paper in the meeting.
You just dotted
I
that.
write
dotted,
all
it's a
the
dotted.
place words I will say, and then I fold my paper and put it in my pocket.
Well, you know what might be interesting here? I've been to the UN at least 5 times
Okay.
for the Commission on the Status of Women, and I have met a lot of different people, including the Secretary General of the UN, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, the Deputy Secretary General of the Commonwealth, even Her Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh. When I was at the...
Is it Her Royal Highness? 'Cause that would make it a
I
Duchess.
think she has now been added Her Royal Highness.
Right.
She was the Duchess.
That's it.
But now she is. And I'm saying that to say that people who are training for leadership in the nation ought to go to some of these places. And it might be that some of them have never been, to even just get a glimpse, a feel of this is where I'm going when I become the leader of the country. And when they think about it, when they see the awe, they begin to bring themselves into a particular kind of behavior and kind of way that they operate.
So I think
because
it's,
gangsters and
Hooligans.
hooligans are not welcome as world leaders.
I know.
They have to have the
World leadership requires a level of deportment.
Deportment and
It
decorum that you
requires a
can't.
level of, while there are many groupings of social differences, it requires some social normality.
Yes.
And so people say, oh, well, you go this place in the world, you'll find that. You go that place in the world, you'll find that. And here is the one example I make most times. A red light is a red light in China and on
Yes.
28th Street.
Yes.
And they have the same meaning.
The same meaning.
I don't even care what the sign on the side of the red light say. When you see the red light, even if you ain't sure what that writing say, stop.
Yes. That's why they have the colors.
It is a social norm. Now, here is why I always make that same analogy. Because that same red light, 100 feet in the air, have an entirely different meaning. Same red light. You follow me? Mm-hmm. And that red light 100 feet in the air, although it has a different meaning than the red light at the street corner, has a universal meaning that we all have socially agreed.
Yes, people don't understand, sometimes they don't, that we wouldn't call it gentleman's agreement, but the point is there is, as we have Robert rules of order
Sure.
for how we operate and what is ethics and what is not and what is conflict of interest, the same thing apply. And as you were saying, and this helps people to understand. It's why a lot more the people who are the activists and the ones who sit in the middle of the street and the ones who are able to go to jail every other week for doing certain things hardly ever make it to the actual
Place where the
in
power
Parliament
sits.
where the power sits.
Correct.
So it is because there are works are delineated.
Right.
You have activism, you have advocacy, and then you have more
Representation.
representation and legislation.
Correct.
So you see where I'm
Correct.
going.
Correct.
And so that is why certain things have to carry on. Certain people carry in a certain way, and they can't come out that vein, even though they try to go over into another lane.
Yeah.
I don't think I came here to talk about all of this, right?
Well,
but the point is,
whenever you have a political mastermind in the room, you get to talk about politics.
okay, yeah. So that's why those things happen, and that's why people don't ever get out of their lane.
Yeah.
I tell people I've stayed in my lane for the whole entire time
Sure.
that I've been in, and the reason is I know where I'm going.
Sure.
I know where I've been sent to go.
Yeah.
So certain things I won't do. Certain things Ali McIntosh may never do. We had just as an example, we went to have a press statement outside BEC. You know, we are suing the government over BPL and the Pike thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we are suing them. So we had a press statement outside, and they closed the gate. We had the press statement, and when they were finished, the chief of security came and says, "Oh, thank you so much for behaving." Say, we closed the gate because we thought the other people might have bashed in. I said, you know, you can never expect behavior like that from Ali McIntosh.
Yeah.
If you tell me stay outside the gate, I'm going to stand outside the gate
Sure.
until you open the gate.
Right.
Because I don't push
Right.
my way in.
Right.
I just ask to open the gate, you open the gate, and then I come in.
Yeah. Because
I
sometimes
don't
it's
know,
so
that's-
much easier to catch flies with honey. Yeah.
And it is.
Yeah.
With what?
I don't know. Vinegar?
I don't know. Vinegar. Bleach.
So that has happened. That has happened. And from today on, just the camera you're looking into, I'm calling him Mikey Ronks. Because in the hood I grew up in, everybody does have a nickname. We have Pookie. We have Blacks. We got Tall Boy. We got American. If you got two Blacks, one is Blacks and the other one is Poi. Okay. All right. And if you're short and you're fat, your name Pudgy. So in the hood I grew up in, everybody gotta have a nickname.
Okay. I'm not going to do the nickname. I'm not going to do the nickname. I'm going to stay in my lane.
I can call him Mikey Ronks. Don't move.
But I do think he should resign.
Freedom March will be right back.
This is Freedom March.
Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you for staying with us through the break. Servant leader S. Ali McIntosh is with me in studio because we talking politics a little bit.
Yes.
And, you know, I thought, who better to talk some politics with, especially because I wanted to talk about the destabilization of governments, right?
Okay.
But I have to tell you this. I have some people, we have a birthday list on Freedom March.
Okay.
And if I don't get to these birthday lists, people will trip me down in the food store.
Well, you better do what
for
you
missing
got to
their
do.
birthday, all right?
Do you
let's-
send cake?
Let's go to, no. But I can tell you, Nicholas Fox obviously said, I don't know what Nicholas Fox's cake budget is. But can I kindly tell you that nobody in the Bahamas need more cake than Nicholas Fox. He must open up a cake bakery. There's absolutely no way he could just get cake on demand like that. If Nicholas Fox find that you have a birthday 4 o'clock, 4:30, you have cake.
Wow.
And he don't care if you're 94 and probably on medication.
That is a very interesting thing about that cake giving.
Half of these people I see Dr. Fox can cake to look like the last thing they should have
Is cake. Yes, I agree. I quite agree. I'm so off you.
But hey, you know, I'm not the member of parliament for Fox Hill, nor am I the candidate for Fox Hill, and I really know what it takes to win in Fox Hill. I've done no social science in Fox Hill.
That's an interesting,
I do not know the
race, don't
demography.
you?
I do not know the topography. What I do know is everyone can have cake.
No.
But not according to Dr. Fox. So
Well, some have hot dogs and chips. And
if your birthday is in the morning, just let Dr. Fox know. Because chances are he have one cake already baked, apparently, that you could have.
he might have a bakery.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's get to these birthdays, all right? So Latoya Moxie is having a birthday today. Is this the same Latoya Moxie that I know? Happy birthday goes out to my daughter Latoya Moxie from her mother, Miss Geraldine Lewis, and family. So we've gotten that one out of the way. And then there's Vivian Johnson. Vivian Johnson, happy birthday to Mrs. Vivian Johnson, who is celebrating her birthday today from all her children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, sisters, nephews, and nieces, all her family members and friends, and the entire Annex Baptist Church family, and her good friend, Gertline Dean. Enjoy your day, sending you love and hugs. Sean Bain, happy birthday goes out to Sean Bain from his daughter, Kyla, and his mom, Betty, special friends, and family. And then KJ. Happy belated birthday to KJ from his mother and his sister and the rest of his family with lots of love. If you're just joining us, S. Ali McIntosh, servant leader of the BCP, is joining me in studio today while we chop up some politics, right?
Yes, sir.
So I see that there is a story in the newspaper today, Ali, from, guess who? None other than Obie Ferguson.
Wow.
And I don't know how often you follow Freedom March, but I have since called for two things. I've called for them to cut the balls off of this old goat because I think that the goat doesn't have the perfect or the right kind of temperament. And let me bring the analogy into the room for you. I've raised goats before in my life. Mm-hmm. And you often hear old people say that only one goat could buck on the hill. Have you ever heard that?
Might be. Might be, yeah.
Here is what that means. It means that if you have more than one male goat in your herd, as long as you have no female goats, they will be a bit, roughhousey, but they won't be aggressive, right? Like you could have young children around them, etc., because their temperament won't flare up too high.
The male goats.
You could put 2 or 3 of them together.
Okay.
When you get 2 male goats anywhere where female goats are, you know what you have to decide immediately? Which one you will let do the studding. Because if you leave both of them with their testicles, they are going to kill one another. They might actually kill the female goats as well. Because any female goat who decides to mate with the other male becomes the enemy. And so he's just gonna butter and butter and butter and butter till she can't take no more.
That's very vivid.
Well, I've raised goats. They're beasts, right?
Are you talking about the race in Fox Hill? Okay, let's not.
No,
go
I'm
there.
talking about code herding. And so when old people say to you that only one, you know, like you hear old men say, only one ram goat could buck on this hill.
Yes.
That's because nobody else in here should have balls, just me one. And the reason why is because if you leave them all with their balls, you're going to end up with goats that are too aggressive to mate or to do anything with. Now, sometimes when goats, the head goat gets kind of old, he becomes a little delusional. He starts putting the herd in danger and all sorts of things. But because he's old, he leading them places where they're getting stuck, right? Because his job is to make sure he takes them with the passenger every day and brings the whole herd back every day. That's his job as the ram, right? But sometimes, you know, they get old. They don't want to, you don't want to eat him because he's tough, but you're still letting him lead the pack, right? And sometimes this male goat start leading the flock them out the neighborhood and all kind of crazy stuff.
And where you going with the story?
I'm trying to tell you. You have to decide that while we ain't want to kill the goat, because he's like a friend of the family now.
Okay.
We have to get a younger male goat. But if we get a younger male goat, them two are gonna kill one another.
Yeah, plenty ego is still in the room.
Okay. So you have to take the old goat. Hopefully he ain't like too old and can't take the surgery no more, and cut his balls off. And when immediately afterwards, guess what happens?
He's gonna calm down.
He turns into one of the nanny goats. And so he will let the other male lead him down the pasture, take him for water. Yeah. This is
I don't see this story's not gonna end well.
and so I think that is where Obie Ferguson is right now.
Oh dear.
Obie Ferguson is in the news today saying, and I want to quote him because I hear he's a big-time lawyer, and while I might call for them to cut the balls off the goat, I don't want him to say that I misquoted him, and that is why he wants to sue me. So, Obie Ferguson is in the newspaper today saying, and I quote, Trade Union Congress President Obie Ferguson said that he had no reason to be in solidarity with the Bahamas Union of Teachers and the Bahamas Public Service Union because his umbrella union has no outstanding matters with the government.
Okay.
But that is tongue-in-cheek, because just 3 weeks ago, Obie was threatening to shut down the whole of LPIA over some taxi drivers. Is he suggesting to me now that the government and the taxi union have ironed out their kink without being in the news? Because they was in the news every day trying to work that out, right? So does he have an outstanding matter or does he not have outstanding matters? And if he doesn't have outstanding matters, and his union, because he's in charge of the trade union in Congress, you know that there's the trade union Congress, there's the NCTUB,
and the National
Congress of Trade Union, Bahamas or something like that. And then there's Belinda Wilson's union, which is the Bahamas National Trade Union Congress.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I have to wonder, not just a union president, the president of a Congress who has unions underneath him, which means he could have a barrage of matters that are unattended to, and yet he says, in one single thing, the government owe us. This is what you understand.
That's right.
Out of all the unions that I have responsibility for, none of my matters are outstanding, right? So how is a government executing like that for the TUC, executing for the NCTUB, but you're telling me somehow that the B and I don't know why I can't get the name right. Belinda, please forgive me.
Bahamas National Alliance.
National Alliance of Trade Union Congress, isn't it?
Yes, of trade.
Right.
I think that it is.
Because I like to get people's names right. Like that's why I always call the LGBTQIA+ by their full name, because I like when people get my name right, right?
Yeah, it's important.
Right. So it just reeks of government destabilization to me. And I feel, Ali, like I aided in the destabilization of the government in 2017.
By doing what?
You remember when me and you been in the room and started the march?
Yes. You think people knew that we were 2 of the 3 signatures on the We March?
I just thought they thought I was
proposal?
lying when I told them this. I told them this last week.
No, me and you were 2 of 3 signatures on the first proposal regarding the We March.
That was addressed to
the Prime Minister
Perry Gladstone Christie
of the Bahamas.
Okay. Now, when we entered the room, The plan wasn't to destabilize the government. The plan was simply the government wasn't functioning optimally. This was right around the time of Hurricane Matthew. I had been living in a house for 21 days without no electricity, right? You remember, this whole thing started off giving a rice on Carmichael Road. That's how it started, right? Then it was, man, there are so many systems that just aren't functioning. Maybe the government is unaware. Go into your circles, talk to people, and bring collective information about what the people in your circles are saying. It's very important to them. And so there were people like you that had some social science stuff. There were people like me that had some transportation issues, etc., etc. And we put together a pretty decent list of actual concerns. Then we rallied the troops and we took 2,000 people out on Bay Street. This is why I ain't scared of Belinda them, because that ain't 2,000 people. Y'all have the whole public service. And y'all can't get 2,000 people. That's scary to me.
Well, when there are issues, as you were saying, and as the senator had indicated, were issues that I've spoken about for many years regarding institutional integrity, system change, things that can make the government run more efficiently, and people feel more comfortable regarding public trust in the government. Because if we don't have system, if we don't have institutional integrity, the people will lose trust in the government, and they will not know how to trust the government. That everything, see, because the rule of law is like this: all things are to be treated alike. Which means if you come with 5 and I come with 5, we should get the same thing. But when you get something and I don't get it, just because you are the friend of the government, then that becomes a problem. And I think part of what we did with We March was to try to highlight those matters to come before. And to get 2,000 people out, they must have been very clear.
Our message resonated.
Very clear.
Here is what was interesting to me. At some point, the goal stopped being trying to have an audience with the Prime Minister. You remember that?
Okay.
At what point, I don't know. Because when the march started, the goal was to have a meeting with the Prime Minister. Then the Prime Minister sends a message and say, tell the organizers I'm prepared to meet. And next thing I hear, we ain't gonna meet with no Prime Minister. Tell him come out here.
Oh, wow, yes.
You remember that?
Well, that's part of, as you say, what organizations, advocacy, unions, activists do when we need to find the strength or the power to change government. But then we do whatever we had to do.
We had the strength because we had a sitting Prime Minister who, if I'm not mistaken, either ended the House of Assembly early or ended Cabinet early, one of the two, because we decided we would go down either it was on a day that the Parliament met or on a day that Cabinet was meeting, right? And so the Prime Minister suspends whatever he's suspending, and he wants to meet the organizers. The next thing I hear, the organizers don't want to meet the Prime Minister, and I remember only 3 people's name was on the list, so I was trying to figure out which set of the organizers don't want to meet the Prime Minister, because the goal is to meet the Prime Minister. Now, let's fast forward.
Well, I was thinking, and as we fast forward, the Prime Minister might have indicated that based on the names that have signed this petition, we don't want to meet with them. Go back and get yourself some more palatable.
No, that wasn't what happened.
Well, it's obviously the other list that they finally met with was not us.
And them people wasn't in the room when We March started.
Yes.
Right. Let's fast forward to last week, right? So last week, I think that the ask by the unions was unreasonable. The Prime Minister said, I'm going to pay you money that you didn't ask me for in December. To ask the Prime Minister now without any scientific data, because the Prime Minister didn't need science. He was just acting on his own accord, right? So he doesn't need science. He doesn't need a reason for why he will pay in December. The Prime Minister, in his wisdom, whatever that is, however that is calculated, just how we permit him to calculate and be the only person that knows when the next election will be, he has also calculated in his wisdom, infinite or otherwise.
But I have an issue with that. I have an issue with how is it that the Prime Minister of his own volition has decided that he will pay of his own volition at a time.
Finance. It is up to his discretion.
Yeah, that is another, as a side thing, the Prime Minister needs to stop being the Minister of Finance.
But
I mean, since Selindon wasn't never the Minister of Finance. Only in these new age Prime Minister who thinks that they must be the Minister of Finance. And they don't always know the best. And what happens is that two person who is supposed to be two different person ends up being the same person.
Right.
That becomes a conflict in regards to public trust.
When he needs expert advice, he just is getting.
What, I'm talking to yourself?
He's going to the elevator.
No, we can't do that. We can't do that. We have to find a way to keep the institution and the integrity in place
but
for the point of
an
public
entire
trust.
team of technocrats, right?
Yes.
That I don't assume just lets this lawyer come in here and waltz around. Right? I'd be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised rather if there are rooms in the Ministry of Finance. One, the Prime Minister probably don't know exists, and two, he don't have the clearance to go in.
But you must remember something that was said in the accusation last week by Mrs. Wilson, is that the Prime Minister says something and there are people who don't do what he says.
That from accountants.
And then of course, that's why they have to come back, because their people do not do what it is he says.
But if the Prime Minister has said this, I've called you to a meeting and I've said to you, this is the date. I didn't hide it. It ain't in the newspaper. I call you to say this is the date. And for you to walk out here and to still be at such a heightened level of combat makes me wonder, is this about issues, especially when I talk to your colleagues who all say, I ain't sure why she's there, Rowan.
Now that's another story.
Or is it about the destabilization of governments? And am I saying that that is what Madam Wilson wants to do? I'm not directly saying that. What I am saying, though, is sometimes people end up on a journey to destabilize the government, and they even ain't aware that they are. Because Ali McIntosh,
if they're being influenced by other people, other parties, during these political times, people just try to get involved in this situation, and the union seem the best and most appropriate place to throw their influence to see if they can destabilize the government.
You are actually now preaching the message that I've been trying to preach all along, which is, if S. Ali McIntosh, leader of the BCP, Levin Miller and the other gentleman in the room, who at the time was just a regular run-of-the-mill attorney, I had never heard of them, right? Nor anyone I had asked, but the movement seemed righteous.
Yes.
I was a bus driver, right? Think about these things now. No union power, no 20,000 people that I could go and rally up, because I also heard that was the threat last week. There are 20,000 of us, and if they don't answer us, we'll be out here in more numbers. But the union can make those kinds of threats because the union know exactly where they're going to get 2,000 people from.
Yeah, they do.
And for an organic movement that, in my view, started as righteous as movements come, there is no one in their right mind that doesn't credit We March for kicking the chair from underneath Christie.
Yes.
No one in there. And now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I am very ready to accept that the reason Perry Gladstone Christie doesn't have a speech on the Hansard of the House of Assembly as a losing or resigning member of Parliament is because of the efforts of We March.
And
that movement to stabilize the government so badly, we beat the daylights out the PLP. I'm prepared to accept that. I tell you all I say.
But look at the energy that went into the march, right?
Yes.
The BCP was part of that too.
Right.
We sit at the table.
Right.
And so we were part of the march. What had happened? What happened? Like how they say in the state, what had happened was the fact that they did not want to credit any kind of positive energy of the BCP pushing anything forward, and so he had to have the unknown gentleman at the time to find another way to come here, even though it was something that resulted in his demise.
Right.
And of course, the FNM always goes ahead and try to take the credit, because if you're not strong enough, if you're not doing...
the FNM couldn't pull it off.
No, they
the
couldn't pull it
FNM
off.
could not pull off We March. As a matter of fact, they were grappling at the time.
Yeah, that's
They had leadership issues happening. Loretta Butler Turner was in there slapping people in the Parliament. All kinds of things was happening in the Parliament. And somehow a single force galvanizes in such a way that a man that had served in the Parliament for 40 years loses his seat. All of that was right around the era of the We March. And all I'm saying is, I look back at the rearview mirror of my life and I regret We March. Because, in hindsight, I think one of the things this country has suffered from for at least 15 years is the liquidity, of our Parliament.
You mean the fact that it changes
every 5 years? Well, at some point, government around here has to become steady enough for there to be progress on the planning?
Well, that is because government uses and allows the pressure from unions, as we see, from the We March, as we see, from the Bahamian evolution with COI, as we see, to destabilize them. They're looking basically at people's power. And I'm saying that is because we've been part of it too. We've been part of all of it.
Sure.
We've been part of the, we talk about the referendum, the 2016 referendum. The Bahamas Constitution Party was the only party on the no side of the referendum.
Well,
we went to court so that the no side could actually get a place in the observation of the polling.
Sure.
You know, so, but nobody wants to get the credit, nobody wants to give us the credit in any place, and any of the four major things that we've been a part of that changed the government over the last 20 years.
Yeah, that is how I became holder of the Gideon Sword.
Really?
Yeah, because I led women that were lost away from referendum and towards the righteousness of saying no.
Well, I mean, we led the say no. We, along with the Save the Bahamas and Pastor Mario Miller and Vaughan Miller, Mario Moxie, and Vaughan Miller. I'm putting them almost together. Mario Moxie and Vaughan Miller, myself, the Bahamas Constitution Party, we pushed for the no because of the fact that righteous alignment, as you say, is very important if you're going to move a country forward. And that is the energy. But I think that the people who manages to destabilize the country on every turn, which the union is used on every level, on every 5 years, it is because people want to show their power. People want to show where their power is without being elected. So people say, I'm not elected, but I'm showing you the power.
Right. And we had people power. And so
nothing's wrong with people power.
But imagine how much more destabilizing unions that have had their mental corrupted by people with malicious intent can do towards this destabilization. I rue 2017 and my involvement in We March.
Okay.
And if your memory is good enough, I named We March because before that it was supposed to be what? Blackout Bahamas or Black Across the, but something silly. Right?
well, it looks like COI have taken on that same blackout something, right?
Something with black in it. So, and the reason why I feel like I have to hyperfixate on what I saw last week, because I know people are going to say, well, there's so much things happening in the news, why are we still talking about the unions? It is because I want the voting public not to vote for the PLP. I don't care who you vote for, right? I'm an FNA. Unless you intend to elect the FNA to be government, then yes, we should change the government this time, right? But outside of that, all I'm trying to do is ensure that going into the voter's box, I don't have a PLP, I don't have an FNM, I don't have a, well, I don't really call them the COI because the name is flawed. The name is grammatically incorrect, right?
Okay.
I want a critical thinking Bahamian in the voter's box. I have a friend of mine, and I crack this joke that he told me all the time. He said that the PLP have him so brainwashed. He was so mad at his MP, he walked to the polling station that morning to go vote the PLP out, right? Okay. Get in the box, dip your hand in the ink, wrap your finger in the paper towel. He say on his way to the box, he was still kissing the MP out. He come here this morning, he walk here. And you know, if you know anything about an old Bahamian woman, apparently walking is the highest level of vexation, right? Because you ever hear a Bahamian woman say, "Don't I'll walk there for you."
I will walk there. I will
okay. So walking is the highest level of Bahamian vexation. He walked to the poll. That's how mad he is at the PLP. Dip his finger in the ink, take the paper, show it to the presiding officer, go on towards the box. The fella say when he take the pencil, he don't know what happened. He said he just black out. He said he just black out for 10 seconds.
And still vote for the PLP.
And when he open the eye back up, the pencil vote for the PLP.
Well, that has to change.
That is what I'm trying to stop.
Okay.
And people that set out to destabilize governments, I think are just so much more interested in selling the message of the party and not allowing people to be critical thinkers. Don't move. Freedom March. We'll be right back after this. This is Freedom March.
every single person matters. Every single dream is worthy of support. Every single challenge must be confronted. There is no space for sitting small. There is no space for fear. But there is room enough for those who are brave enough to refuse the path of the least resistance, and with brave hearts cut a path for those who are counting on us.
This is Freedom March.
Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Leland Miller. You're listening to us on 103.5 The Beat FM, channel 224, that's on cable, channel 112, that's on Flow, and ILTV Studios on Facebook, where by now you should be following us. Bradley Roll is still here with me in studio, but we talk in politics, so I thought I'd, invite the servant leader to stay with me for one more session of good old politics talk.
Yes.
Besides, I don't know many people that have had such a consistent go at politics. Like, you've been at it now, what, 30 years?
27.
27 years, right.
Since 1999.
So that qualifies you, eh? Now,
yes. I love the word persistent, mandate. Okay. I'm doing this because I am mandated.
You feel called?
Yes, I call. And so I'm not going until my boss says time for you to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, I accept that. And I always tell people, I've learned one thing from being in public life, right? Whenever you don't have an exact answer, just tell the people you spoke to God. Nobody can call God.
Yeah. What do you mean I can't call him? I feel like
you can't ask God nothing but me, because me and God have a secrecy clause, so God can't tell you my business.
So he may not tell me your business unless it's something that I can fix.
Right. So when you say, Mr. Miller, we thought that that this thing that happened was a bad thing, and we don't know why you did it. You say, listen, I've spoken with my family, and I've spoken to my God.
Yes, and that's. And
I am now asking you all to give us the space necessary to go through this period. Because once I talk to my God, for sure I ain't talking to no more reporter.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, my book, I wrote a book, How to Reconstruct a Nation. That's a big book, right?
Sure.
And it starts with this. You must live with people to know their problems and live with God to solve them.
Okay.
So you must find a balance in which you can communicate on both sides.
So for all the things I don't have answers for, I just talk to God, and now I have to talk to you no more about it. All right, so we're talking about government, the destabilization of government, I guess what all happened last week. But with that in my mind, Ali McIntosh, here is what else has come to my mind. So we've seen in recent years in American politics where the front runner of the Democratic Party had to take the knee, right?
Had to take the lead?
Had to take the knee.
Okay.
He came out of the race.
Okay.
Some believe too late. Some believe it didn't matter. The person who was the deputy simply couldn't pull it off. So much so that they elected a felon, just so it wouldn't be her. And it got me thinking, right? If you ask the question today, that if the President of the United States of America takes the knee, are Americans en masse comfortable with it being J.D. Vance in charge of the free world? The guy has no experience. He's a 2-year senator. I mean, there's no real track record for him. He grows a pretty decent beard. That's about all you could say about him. He's not even tall, which is always something nice to say about someone, right?
Oh, yeah, when you're tall, that's really
good. Boy, he's nice. That's a nice tall man, eh?
Yes.
But he doesn't even have that. And when I go through the social media space, he doesn't enjoy the same level of confidence as the number one chair. But we must always be cognizant that the number one chair in America is a 78-year-old man who has horrible diet, I'm advised. And like my granddaddy, who's 99 and still clicking on all cylinders, he drinks at least 2 Coke sodas a day.
Oh, wow.
Right? But what happens if it has to be the deputy? And so I got to thinking, let's go to the pictures from Kid Island. I was in Kid Island on last week.
Oh, okay.
Right? And with what I see in Kid Island, I am telling you this. I am fearful for the Prime Minister's seat.
It's that awful?
They have one piece of road work that's been going on for at least 2 years that I've been down there. The road isn't getting better. I spoke to my sources on the ground. Today, the matter is still progressing at the rate molasses could get sucked.
What about the police station? That police station, like kind of in the middle of...
You mean in Arthurstown?
Yeah.
Is it painted? It still look like the pirates built it.
Man, it can't be. You know how long ago I've been to Cat Island?
Okay.
And my memory
And so the problem I have is I see, Leon Lundy. Leon Lundy is the member of Parliament for South Andros. I saw today on social media that Leon Lundy them getting ready to go pave road in South Andros. And I said to myself, how is it Clay got one bunch of road paving in Eleuthera? How is it Lundy going to pave up one bunch of road in South Andros? Who else been bragging? I see Golden Gates got road paving and all.
Oh, they did that. I wish to thank whoever did that, because those roads were terrible going through that corner every day.
But all I'm saying is,
the Prime Minister
the
road
only way to be Prime Minister is to be elected. You can't be appointed Prime Minister, not under this system. And we ain't have no president. And even if we had a president, it probably wouldn't have executive power. It'll be kind of like the Governor General.
Why not? That's a different way. I mean, executive order is part of the work of an executive president in a constitutional republic.
In a constitutional republic. But the day-to-day goings on of the country comes back down to its prime minister.
In our state, yes.
Okay. And there's only one road to the prime ministership. I don't care how much the people like you.
When you keep getting elected, you mean the people in Cat Island is voting for him despite the fact that he's not fixing their road, he has not painted that police station.
What I am saying to you, listen to me, Madam Servant Leader, is what I'm saying to you is, I am of the view that their patience is wearing thin.
Okay.
I was in Cat Island last week. I just been.
Because there are new people are going down to Cat Island to live.
Old people telling me this. See, if it were new people, I would say Brave could get them crank off the register because they're from here. But when I sit in places and just listen.
So for all these years?
No. It is worse.
Worst?
Yes. And it is because there is a contractor down there who, in his wisdom, has opted to peel up about, I'm going to say, 40 miles of road in chunks. So you have a quarter mile of road, 2 miles of quarry. A quarter mile of road, 2 miles of quarry. And if I lying, they could call me, put up the picture of so you could see that the construction is underway. I see that they changed the sign. And
probably it's just a fast end.
This
probably
has been
want to say that he
on for 2 years.
Probably want to say that he's doing something, but he don't really want to finish.
People in the Dumfries community have had to leave their houses. And all I'm saying is, the road to Prime Minister goes through the Parliament.
But they keep voting for Brave Davis, the Prime Minister, Philip Brave Davis. When Cat Island, as I remember it, I've been down there it's got to be more than 15 years.
And at some point...
and that police station I was so disgusted by...
At some point, Madam Servant Leader, the contuberance hits the perpendicular. And I think that is where they are now.
Say that again.
At some point, the contuberance hits the perpendicular.
And in regular people language would
I can't say that on TV.
Yeah, I figured so. But it might just be his way of making people just follow him for nothing. Knowing that he is not going to fix the road, let's just pretend we're doing something.
Put the stuff back up so the servant leader could see.
It might be just a pretense. That's how he's doing it.
They have contractors on the ground. They have a full, active, running mill. You could smell the asphalt cooking. But the road in Cat Island is deplorable. And worsening. And I'm willing
What about
to
the dock? What about the dock?
The dock is underused because they don't have enough population, but the dock is fine. And I'm willing to wager that if Cat Island had an uptick in its population of about 3,000 or 4,000 persons for any reason, with the road being the way it is right now, traffic fatalities on that island would be in the double digits. I'm prepared to wager that.
Yeah, because if you're speeding, and then you get to the point where we have quarry,
deplorable. And they all either lead to the water or off of a cliff. And so I thought to myself, just how no one anticipated that Kamala Harris would ever be president of the United States of America. Only people that don't follow the news ever thought that. Black people certainly wasn't going to vote for her. right? Because her policies have been anti-black people for most of her political career. No one thought this woman could be president, right? And so I said to myself, well, I've listened to the PLP's rally last week, and the general tone and thread is, we safe with Brave. But it can never be lost on us that Brave Davis is a man 74 years old.
Could be with an onset of dementia, too.
Well, I know, because it's only Belinda said that, but I know Belinda to be no medical doctor.
No, but you don't need to be a medical doctor to determine when there's an onset
If the doctor is
dementia.
Or he might just be a forgetful guy.
No, see, the point is, when your time has come, your time has come.
But that's not what everybody is saying. A lot of people are saying Brave has rescued the economy. Brave is a master negotiator. And I don't take any of that from him. I believe he is, in fact, all of these things. What the question I have is, how is he accounting for his stewardship
in his Cat Island
to the people
of Cat
that
Island
should matter to him most? And so, servant leader, just bear with me. Put up the pictures of the deputies. At some point, we have to ask ourselves, for any reason, what if this becomes a race of deputies? Like, what if Lincoln go to protest one day, bust somebody in the head with a can, Lincoln lock up for attempted murder, right?
Probably their plan of succession, their succession plan. So in order to us to narrow the deputy in, we would have to.
Do people even know the deputies? Do people actually know who is the deputy of the COI? Do people actually know? You'd be surprised the amount of people that do not know. Do people actually know the name of the deputy of the Free National Movement? Do people? Because I think that in the Westminster system, it is not uncommon to pick the most lackluster guy in the party to be the deputy.
Yes.
Show me any deputy in this nation's history that has been a rock star.
Well, see, what happens is that sometimes the leader has such an ego that they don't want to be outshined at any level.
That's my point.
And that is the reason why sometimes the person who ends up as deputy can't be prime minister, because, my goodness.
Because no one will vote for him.
Yeah, nobody's going to vote for him.
And what if, producer, you have the picture of the deputies? Show me the deputy of, humor me, show me the deputy of the COI.
That's Dr. MacGyver.
You know her after 27 years in politics.
I know most everyone.
This is my point. I'm telling you right now that the average 30-year-old thinks she's Brooke Shields off of the Bold and the Beautiful.
She's kind of pretty. For her age, yes.
Show me the deputy for the Free National Movement. Shannon Ann Cartwright.
Shannon Don. Okay, Shannon Don.
Right? Oh, but can he win in a race of deputies?
Probably not.
Do millennials know who this man is? See, because that is where the fight is. I think they say something like 62% of the voters this election will be under the age of 35 or something to that effect?
But let's look at it like this. Sometimes we are expecting that those who would be deputy would become the leader. Don't always happen that way.
I don't disagree,
and
but if there's an unforeseen circumstance,
they are actually the one,
the closest one
to do it. Yes.
Is the deputy.
However, sometimes leadership has to come from somewhere else. Sometimes you get a chairman that comes up and becomes the deputy. You have someone that's a rising star within the party who may be able to come up and be the deputy.
Well,
and so we have to train people within the party. I'm like this. Mm-hmm. I believe, and this is my mentoring period because I soon walk off left stage, is to find at least 10 young men who wants to lead. Young men or women who wants to lead. So any one of them could possibly do it.
But in a race of deputies, so producer, get me the picture of Charlotte Green, that is the chairperson for the COI, Dr. Dwayne Sands, that is the chairman of the Free National Movement, and Frederick Audley Mitchell, who is the chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party. Let's put those pictures up next, because if the race becomes a race of chairmen. Do the Bahamian people believe any one of these chair people could be the top chair? And so I'm wondering...
My chairman, Dwayne Hyler, has been our chairman for about 8 years. He now
I only know Dwayne Hyler
because you know him.
Because I know him.
Okay. No, but he's been a consistent...
He has been chairman of your party for a while.
Yeah,
or a consistent member of the party.
Yes, he's a consistent chairman. He's operating in the deputy leader's post in this regard.
So he's
also.
chairman / deputy leader?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I like these positions.
Yeah, no, sometimes you need to, in a small organization, you have to...
Sure,
yeah,
that's
but,
fine.
but
so
he,
we have the
he
pictures
does.
of them. So show me the chairperson of the COI.
That would be Charlotte Green.
Charlotte Green. Who is a pocket rocket in my view. Right?
Pocket rocket.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever that
We have a picture. There she is. That ain't the best picture, but this is the best one we could find.
Yeah.
Right? But these things are important because if I search you on the internet, like you don't even have like a professional headshot that the internet takes me straight to.
It should be. I mean,
I
go
don't
to
know.
bcpparty.org. You should be able to find out.
The
chairman.
producer looking for these pictures?
Yeah,
Take me
bcpparty.org.
to a picture of the chairman of the Free National Movement. That's Dr. Dwayne Sands.
He's still the chairman.
They vote him out.
No.
Yeah, he's the you know the FNM don't have voting conventions. They hate that. Here's a picture of Dr. Dwayne Sands. Now show me a picture of Fred Mitchell. And so if the race becomes a race of chairmen for the top chair, do we feel comfortable with any of these three men being top chair? I hear the PLP building so much of their work around the leader of the party. And I'm not saying that that's a bad strategy.
I mean, we have to spread it out.
There it is. See, I knew we could
Yeah,
find
that's a better one. That's a better one.
Charlotte, we apologize for that first picture. I don't know. We was looking.
Yeah, that
It
was
take
an
us a
awful
little time.
picture. But that's a beautiful picture.
This one is also nice.
See, the work, sometimes we don't appreciate the work that is being done in the party by different people in the party.
Sure.
And we have to be able to look in the party and say, this is my go-to man when it comes to research. That's our chairman is like that.
Sure.
I'm just looking for information and he's getting it and sending it that way.
Sure.
So we have to spread it out. We have to find a way. I'm always opinion that we have to find another way to govern in the country. Number one, we have to find another way in which we operate these political organizations because they don't have the level of accountability that NGOs and nonprofit have. So if we want to just be ad hoc, let's see, we've never been trying to build a BCP party to start another tribe. What we've been interested more in governance than in just the politics, because the politics should be.
It's like the wedding.
Yes,
you gotta be married after that.
In fact, some of these weddings that are the biggest weddings,
the most horriblest marriage.
Yeah, the marriage doesn't last for a couple of weeks.
With them, they hate one another from the first day.
Yeah, so
show me a picture of the deputy leader of the Progressive Liberal Party. That's a picture of I. Chester Cooper. There he is. I like I. Chester Cooper.
He's a Toastmaster.
Because his name sounds like a sentence. That's why I like him.
D.I. Chester Cooper. He's a DTM, the Toastmasters. We went to Toastmasters together.
But here is what I want to say.
Early days.
If you had to pick a race of deputies to be the top chair, those would be your choices. You would be picking I. Chester Cooper, Dr. MacGyver, Shannon Norton Cartwright.
Dwayne Hyler.
He's deputy. He could be deputy or he could be chairman.
No, he's a Dwayne.
He could be deputy.
Yeah, he's a deputy.
Okay.
He is a deputy. He's just working the chairman
He's
to
doing the
make
role of
sure.
the
Yeah,
chairman,
he's still doing that work.
And so I want Bahamians to begin to think in their minds that while, yes, the PLP feels like they're safe with Brave, right? Do we run the risk of being so monocular in our view that our lens can only see Brave? That our lens can only see what Mikey Ronks.
See, what is happening here is that the PLP don't want to break rank. And they feel if they don't say Brave is the man, that they may appear to be breaking ranks.
That's fine.
But if he is not the man for the job, it is fine to say
No, I don't
it's
feel that
time
way.
to
I
walk
feel
that
like
way.
Brave is doing excellent, actually. Can I tell you this? This is what I always tell people, right? Promise less than you know you have the power to lift. That way, when you lift more than you tell people you could have lift, you look like you could lift plenty.
Well, that is a good point.
I expected Brave Davis to be horrible as Prime Minister. That was my expectation.
Well, he has a good team of marketers. He has a good team of speechwriters.
The marketers
He
can't
has
put
a
him
good-
on the UN stage. When he stands on the stage, I tell them I believe the obey and the purple necktie. Whenever you see the Prime Minister puts on the purple necktie, he's flawless. I don't know what it is. It
Well,
must be the
part of
starch.
all of the activities that make him look good. That's what happens. And that happens when you've got the money and the team to put the marketing out there.
Agreed.
Without that team, without Mr. Poitier writing those good speech and putting in Brave David's mouth words that comes from somewhere else, or programs that he's using that belongs to someone else, he may not look like that
But
as a
for
real
whatever
good
that is
friend.
worth, those
Especially when you look at what's going on in Cat Island.
But and that's my point. So, if you end up with a superstar performing progressive liberal party, right?
Yeah, they got the public relations.
But the top chair goes down. There are only two options.
What is the options?
Someone got to vacate their seat so we could give him another seat and re-elect him.
Or we could elect someone else. We could elect another party.
No, I'm saying, let's just stay with me on the message. If the PLP performs well enough to be the first re-elected party in 25 years, right? Let's just say that happens. But we lose the chief in Cat Island. Because if he loses Cat Island, he loses.
Well, sometimes that has to happen.
I don't disagree.
Sometimes the change has to happen by not the usual way things would happen,
we
by
talked about
other things happen.
destabilization of governments, right?
Okay.
Does it destabilize the government? Because every new prime minister...
It destabilizes the PLP.
And does a destabilized PLP translate into government that doesn't function smoothly?
No,
There will
I
be people
believe...
lobbying for jobs, jockeying for jobs, jockeying for... The new prime minister will have to certainly pick a team of people he could trust.
Well, if the PLP leader does not win his seat, there may be in situations where the F&M leader might not win his seat either.
This is my point.
And so if some
But it only
leaders
matters
don't
who's
win
the
their
government.
seat, whoever wins their seat, there has to be a place where the confidence will come by the majority of those who are sitting.
And you and I are saying
that
the
is
same
where
thing,
we're
Ali.
talking about a different
You and I
kind
are
of
saying
government
the
we will
same thing.
see
So
for the first time.
What if, let's just say, let me...
Perry was the only leader who actually lost his seat.
lost his seat.
Lost it.
So let me rub your imagination into position. Let us say there are 39 seats. Let us say somehow the PLP pulls off 23, the F&M pulls off, I don't know, 15, and the COI pulls off 10, the BCP pulls off 3. That's 39? My maths is horrible. I failed the BGCSE 4 times.
Okay.
Right? I still don't know how I passed college math, but the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Right?
Yes.
All of those parties lose their leader. Right? Just by happenstance.
Interesting. Very interesting.
We now have a race of deputies. Which of these deputy people can we say?
No, but see, you're all...
that this is the person we will get because we know that this party will galvanize behind this man, not just because he's deputy, but because the party has that level of confidence in him.
Okay, you're still thinking about parties.
Because
the Bahamian
serving
people,
leader.
if that happens, the Bahamian people is thinking about people. They're just thinking about leaders coming forward. So which means if there are 39 persons elected, the deputy, some deputies might have lost their seat. If leaders have lost their seat, a couple of deputies might have lost their seat too. So you have a new whole configuration of what we're looking at. How do we find someone in this mass of 39 people that can lead? Who is the confidence? Where will we put our confidence?
I can tell you one
and
thing.
that is where sometimes Ali McIntosh gets to the leadership.
I can tell you one thing. That sounds good in London. That sounds good in London.
Well, you know, because it happens anywhere else in the world.
But I'm saying to you, I don't care what river dance you do, right? If by some chance Philip Davis doesn't win his seat in Cat Island, you could light white smoke in the bush from now until Christmas morning. I don't want you to believe for 1 minute the organization known as the PLP will just somehow say, oh yes, please let Ali lead. That will not happen.
No, I'm saying for the fact of those persons, we have independent people running.
Yes.
We have, because when the egos start, right, and everybody start to say, well, I want to lead, because when you say everybody put a name in the box as to who will lead, most people are going to put their own name in.
Oh boy.
And so it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I remember when the BCP, the NDP, Rodney Monken, somebody else, Cassie Stewart, we were all breaking bread about getting together and making a good coalition.
Then the question, who
was going to lead? Guess
Yeah.
what Rodney Monken tell them? Y'all stop this arguing. Let Ali lead. Because he know that the testosterone, the ego is going to get in the way.
And all
we
I'm
have
saying-
to get to the point where we move the ego.
We almost
off.
out of time.
I would imagine.
Right. But here is the question, and this is something that I want Bahamians, because I tell you, the goal here on Freedom March is to get critical thinking Bahamians in the ballot. I'm done with this emotionalism.
Oh, yes.
I want people to turn their brain on. I don't want the pencil vote. I want you to walk in this box.
You want the brain vote.
I want the human holding the pencil. I don't want you black out for 10 seconds and you open your eye and pencil vote for the FNM.
Okay.
That ain't what I want.
We need a finger to hit the button.
If there is a race of deputies, do you think Bahamians have thought about, yes or no, which of the deputies they feel most comfortable with?
I don't think they have.
boy.
I don't think they have, because they are so focused on the leader
That jingle means view at the time.
that they figure if the leader don't win, my body is gone.
The jingle means view at the time. We know that the show. I'm Leaving Miller. This is Freedom March. We'll see you again
It
tomorrow.
was good to be here.